Okay, well now we're going to do the spark plug wires. Got the new distributor cap and rotor on there, and I'm going to replace the wires. Now if your wires aren't numbered, which these ones are not, I don't think, no, then just take one off at a time and you'll basically match up which one most closely matches the length. Shortest, second shortest, third shortest, fourth, fifth, sixth. You know, the longer it's got to reach the distributor, the longer it should be. So it should be pretty straightforward. But I would just take one off at a time, that way you know where the location is, you don't get them mixed up. But if you do, your distributor cap is numbered on the bottom too, and then right here's your cylinder numbers. So it'd be 2, 4, 6, 1, 3, 5, in case you should happen to get them mixed up. But if you just take them off one at a time, you shouldn't have that problem. Okay, so I'm going to do the shortest one first. Number 6 cylinder, number 6. So then basically I'm just going to come over here and find the shortest one over here to match up, which is probably this one. Just snap it down on your plug good, and then reattach it to your distributor. Now see, these are at an angle, you got to kind of work with them to get them lined up. This one's being a bitch already. I like to put them on and off a couple times just to make sure oh, there we go. That one was, it should snap on. I kept thinking that was down all the way, but it wasn't. I gave it a good hard tap and it clicked on all the way. I want to try to take note of how they're routed, and if they're routed correctly, that is, and kind of try to refollow the way it's routed, unless somebody boogered it all up. But that way, you know, it's not touching anything or leaning on anything it shouldn't be. Alright, this next one's going to give you a little issue, the number 2, because it's down here, but your number 3 right next to it, the boots are probably going to be touching. So you'll want to unplug this one, get it out of the way, so you can get to that one. And then even before you're done, you might have to unplug one or the other to work with it to get them back on. But for the sake of following the order, I'm going to follow the order and just leave this one unplugged and sit there. Go ahead and plug in number 2 and work my way around, but I'll probably end up messing with it again later to get them on. Alright, so you're going to have to pay a little more attention to these back ones here, because they're relatively close in length. Of course, one is clearly longer, which would, you know, be the farthest cylinder, but these first two back there are rather close in length. You can see how this one's hooped up though. This is probably the longer one, ever so slightly. If you hold them side by side here, and then pull them tight, one is just a tad longer. So your shortest one is going to be this number 1, and then the one that's just a tad longer, number 3. And then of course the other one was significantly longer, it would be the furthest, number 5. Alright, for these ones that wrap all the way around the back, you should have these little clips, and you want to reutilize these. It's an attempt to keep the wires separate so they don't arc between one another. And the same thing when you're routing them, you want to try to keep them separate. If it means you twist them or whatever like that, you know, it's not the end of the world if they're touching, but as much as you can, you want to try to keep them separate. So definitely reuse these clips and take note of where they are in regards to the one that you're currently taking off, and try to reroute it in that position. See, we got these ones back here and they're not even popped in there, but you definitely want to use those. What the fuck? You little bastard. There we go. Seems like if you try to push right there, they don't want to go on. You actually got to come back here a little to get them to fucking go on right. It doesn't make much of a clicking sound when it goes on there. Just give it a few taps, make sure it's on all the way. So this is the one I was talking about. It's going to be a lot easier if you just go ahead and unplug number 2 so that you can have some room to get number 3 plugged in all the way back in there. This one is a pain in the ass, for sure. They're already difficult to plug in, and this one doesn't leave you much room. You could, if you have to, take the cap off, and that way you can bring it up here and get them all plugged in, and then just reinstall the cap. And if I can't get this fucker on there, that's just what I'm gonna do. Alright, so all my new wires are on. And again, try to keep them from touching. I can see I'm missing some clips here. Maybe you could get replacements, I don't know. It should be one here, got this one and that one. There's probably one missing around in here somewhere, but just do your best to try to keep them from touching as much as possible. Make sure everything's snug, you know, double check everything. Reconfirm the order to make sure you didn't mess up once you're done. Alright, so I noticed this one is just kind of swaying there. I don't know if there's a clip or something that should have been here that is no longer there. But you want to watch this one, you know, at highway speeds, the wind or even your cooling fans kicking on might push this back against this exhaust manifold here and could melt your wire. So you want to keep an eye on that. Well, what you could do, I think I'll probably end up doing it myself, just drill a little hole here on this fan shroud, and then you can just zip tie it right there. That way you don't have to worry about it. It's probably what I'm going to do. That way I don't end up ruining my brand new wires. Alright, so there's with the air box in and everything. You just need to reconnect your battery and you're done. And you can still reach down in here and grab this wire if you wanted to drill a little hole and zip tie it.